time for the Salt and Sass Podcast, when we share our love for the wonderful world of board games with you, whether you're a gaming veteran or just starting your tabletop journey. Welcome to episode 83. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Mandi.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Amazing to have you here. Woo woo! In December, the last month of the year. What a year it's been. Can't say I'm sorry to see it go, but got to get through December. Here we are. Mandi, I am back from Pax Unplugged, which you were missed by many people. I got a lot of I think in people's minds we're just joined at the hip.
Yeah.
And which is fine. Hey, but there is this thing, I gotta say, Mandi, of people will see me and recognize me. And then the conversation goes like this: Suzanne, where's Mandi? It's like, I recognize you. Where is the person we actually want to see? It's always like, hi, Suzanne, where's Mandi? Not, hi, Suzanne, how are you? Hi, Suzanne, it's nice to see you. Hi, Suzanne, what's going on? What have you been playing? No. Hi, Suzanne, where's Mandi? I'm like, I get it.
Definitely. So,
if nothing else, Mandi, you are loved and you are missed at PAX Unplugged.
I appreciate that, everybody. Thank you.
But let's see. So I think we've got kind of a show, right? I'll tell you, I'm going to share some of my PAX Unplugged. Mandi, I know you've been playing some video games. One in particular, I'm eager to hear about. No crowdfunding. We'd mentioned it last episode. It's just a slow time in the crowdfunding. I mean, there are projects, but I don't think The Witcher Legacy needs our promotion.
Right.
$3.5 million miniatures fest. Okay. So talking about some games we've been playing and serving up a twisty-turny game pie. We'll call it good for the day. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Mandi, are you playing with your dog?
Yes, my dog. For those who are watching the podcast, or you will see a little white head pop up. I have 3 dogs. One is just like, I want to lay on your lap. So for those listening, well, let's hope she doesn't make noise, because that would be very annoying.
We'll fix it in post. Don't worry.
Okay, there you
go. Fix it in post. So, Mandi, what have you been playing? Tell me all about it.
Well, I'm going to do a revisit of a game I talked about, I think, last episode, called Winter Burrow. So I think at first I was like, oh, yeah, it's cozy. It's cute. Lies, everybody. Complete lies. It's cute. Has a cozy theme, but it is not cozy. It is a survival game. I was like, dang, I don't know about this game. I was struggling. So I've been streaming it from time to time. I'm like, maybe I'm just missing something. And then I was like, it clicked. I was like, okay, I like this game. It definitely is cozy, cute kind of theme, but is a survival game for sure. I finally got the cadence down of like, okay, or I guess I should say more scheduling down of like, okay, so this is what time I'm going to go out to forage for resources. Because if I go out at a certain time, it's going to be too cold, and then I'm going to get cold faster. I need to bring tea and treats and things like that in order to get further. I was able to hit some milestones, and I think that really helped, how to make better weapons or just things that I could, better axe, or upgrading things, or meeting new people to progress the storyline. Anyway, long story short, I figured it out. The navigational part gets better because there's no map. So the first time I was just perishing in the cold quite frequently because I couldn't get my way back to the cabin. But once I kind of did it a few times, I'm like, okay, I see the path. I have a little marker in my mind here. Okay, I see how to get back. So, and then there are ways you can stay out in the cold longer by making little fire pits and things like that. So long story short, have I figured it out completely? No, but I have a better view of the game because I've been able to hit some of those milestones. So don't write it off, but it is definitely not a super kind of cozy light, let's snuggle in with some hot chocolate and watch TV while I play a game on my Switch or something like that. It's not that kind of game. So Winter Burrow, I don't know if you would like it, Suzanne. It does get a little repetitive, I feel, over time, but it's still cute and I'm still enjoying it. But if you're not into survival games, I don't think this is going to change your mind.
Yeah, I love your recap and that, because honestly, the aesthetics look amazing.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, I'm not hearing anything wrong with the game. It honestly is sounding less and less like a game for me.
And I figured I just wanted to solidify that.
No,
I do enjoy
that. That's great.
Exactly. So Winter Burrow, cute, but not going to be for everybody. The next one I've been playing a lot, and I do think you will enjoy this game, is Clover Pit. So
this is the one I want to hear about. Yeah.
Yes. It's so Clover Pit, I'm playing it on my Steam Deck via Xbox. So it is actually on Xbox, but I'm doing, I have some kind of emulator or whatever that pulls. I can play games through the cloud on my Steam Deck, and it plays quite well that way, actually. And Clover Pit is very reminiscent of Balatro and, what is that other game? There's another game that I played. It's like a card game. It had a creepy vibe.
Inscription?
Inscription. It definitely has that kind of humor, I guess you could say, to it a little bit. But if you like,
I found Inscription to be very dark and scary, so that's definitely
okay. So let me back it up. The humor, kind of, I find that is like Inscription, in my opinion. That type of humor, but the kind of gameplay and stuff is a little similar to that, but I guess more like Balatro type situation. Theming wise, I think it's supposed to be quote unquote dark, but it's not scary, if that makes sense. So like so I don't think you'll be scared by it, but you're literally in this game, you're playing the slots. And you're playing the slots. I mean, if you want to, and I put this in quotes, stay alive, which means to kind of get to the next round, you need to meet certain requirements. So that reminded me of Luck Be a Landlord, where you had to make the rent, right? That sort of thing. Yeah. Same sort of idea. So, you'll start off with like a low level, and then you have to try and play the slots, and you also get charms. So these are going to help you get to those levels easier. You know what I mean? It might just give you a permanent charm. It might be one that works for like 10 rounds and then it disappears. Charms work with other charms. You'll even have a phone that rings every so often. I think it's after every round that you've passed. So like when you get to the next level, the phone will ring and offer you some stuff. It's not always great, I'll be honest with you, but that's an option for you as well. And then you always have a display of like 6 or whatever charms that you can choose from. And they have Clover tickets, I think is what they're called, to buy them. You don't want to run out of those. And if you don't get the money by a certain amount of time, the pit below you opens and, you didn't pay up, and then you just start over again. But you want to try to get to the levels where you get keys and things like that, because it opens drawers and those don't go away. So if you want to put a charm or something in a drawer or something for later, stuff happens, but you're able to do that and those things don't go away. I didn't know that. And I didn't use my key the first two runs. I only have 1 drawer unlocked now, and I should have had 3. But anyway, I digress. Long story short, Clover Pit is a lot of fun. I think you're going to love it. I've been playing it.
Boy, all right.
So if you have Game Pass, then it's on there. You can play it that way. I don't know the price off the top of my head. I think it's probably $20 or $30.
No, it's $10, I think.
Okay, so Canadian, it's probably closer to the $20-ish dollar range, give or take. But yeah, it's not super pricey. But you all know I like my games on sale or free, so it's on Game Pass. So figured I'd give it a try. So Clover Pit, so good. Definitely think you will like this.
All right.
See, checking it already. I'm gonna buy it tonight.
I'm looking at it. All right.
The last video game I'm going to talk about super fast. I streamed this a little bit on the channel on Twitch. Egging On. I honestly was like going to rage quit this game at one point because I was like, I can't do it. You are literally an egg. And just in the first bit, you're trying to roll your way up to the top of the chicken coop. I think I did make it halfway the last play. And do you know how long it took me to get there? I kept dropping and breaking and just, I was like, I'm done. But then I kept coming back for more. You get to change egg colors. Like once you get to a certain level, you get to be a little good at it, but it really is a test of your patience. You have to time jumps properly, like jump off the tip of the egg. And anyway, you can break. You can even count the amount of breaks you have. You can put on hard mode, but it does have certain points that you get to. You're like, oh my gosh, do I have to do this all over again? No, you can go into a little crate helicopter drone thing and it'll bring you to the next like drone stop if you found it. How many times I've died falling out of that thing just because I was like, oops, wasn't in there securely enough. Splat. Anyway, it's silly, but it's actually a really good game. And from what I've heard, it just didn't get as much attention when it first came out. Just kind of people missed it. And it's actually a pretty good game. Is it frustrating? 100%. But I love the person's voice. It's so encouraging. Oh, are you okay? Let's be a little more careful next time. Like, it's just so... Anyway. Egging On, it's on Game Pass as well. I thought it was really interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I had some frustrating moments, but it's been fun. So that's another one to try.
I mean, that does sound real
rage-inducing,
real goofy. No, it does look super fun.
It is though. Like honestly, like and if you can't get in the chicken coop, you can like roll around, and there's another thing where you can like roll down a thing and it pops you out and try to hit the bullseye. Anyway, there's all kind of silly games in it and stuff. And anyway,
yeah, so I see. Yeah, you described it well. It's soul. It just went on my wish list. Like I'm not going to pick it up right now, but yeah,
sure,
just went on my wish list for sure.
It goes on sale.
Real fun.
I think it's fun. Okay, nicely so that's done. It for Thanks, video games. Yeah, my pleasure. See, sharing is caring. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is not a video game. It's actually an RPG. So on the Twitch channel, Stephanie, who you might know does solo RPGs on the YouTube channel, is also running Cottages and Cerberus for us on the Twitch channel. So we've done part 1. We've uploaded it to YouTube. The reason why I mentioned it is we're going to do part 2 and 3. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, we do RPGs from time to time. So check the schedule to see if you want to check it out. And we've incorporated a few people who actually are listeners of the show or people who watch our streams. We've got a couple people who are joining us. So it's really fun. So that's Cottages and Cerberus. Just check out the scheduling to see when our next episode is. So we're going to try to do a few more of those going into the new year. Whew, okay, that was a lot, but that's it for me.
You did it. You did good.
Yay!
All right. Well, I was just going to kind of recap my Pax Unplugged experience a little bit for folks who weren't able to go or who were there and just wanted, I don't know, whatever. Yeah. I'm just going to talk because that's what we do here. It's a podcast. So that's what we do. As you know, I went to Pax Unplugged. It is the tabletop version of a Pax convention. It's held in Philadelphia every year. This was a weird year. So first of all, normally it happens early December, but the fact that it happened late November, right before American Thanksgiving, was a little weird timing wise, but that just has to do with the venue availability more than anything else. And there was, when they announced the dates, there was a little bit of community scuffle because it was the same weekend as BGG Con.
Ooh.
And people were like, the big PAX is trying to stomp on the little guy. Trust me, stunk. Yeah, it wasn't ideal that it overlapped. Sure. If anything, it negatively impacted PAX's attendance because groups that would normally choose to go to PAX chose instead to go to BGG Con because it's such a loved convention. It wasn't a choice. It was a venue limitation. So be it. Also, it was the weekend of the Philadelphia Marathon. So the city was packed. It was a little bonkers. Again, they didn't want it to be that way. Sure. It's just how it worked out. But There you go. The weather overall, it was cold, but it wasn't too bad. A little rainy. We've been at PAX Unplugged before where it was like snowing and just miserable. So thank goodness for that. But it was interesting because going around, they sold out of 3 days. I don't think that they sold out of individuals on Friday or Sunday, though. Doesn't really mean anything, but it wasn't a completely sold out show this year.
Right.
And, it was still busy, tons of booths, tons of games. That was all very cool. PAX Unplugged has some of the best first look and hot games areas. They're always very, very crowded, which is kind of okay because they also have a great library and they have so much table space dedicated to open play, which is unique in big game conventions. Now, you can go to a BGG Con and they're very play focused and they'll have lots of tables. Cool. But they don't have the vendor presence that a PAX Unplugged has. Sure. But Gen Con Origins, they come nowhere close to the open play tables that PAX Unplugged offers. That's amazing and very, very positive.
Nice.
But in general, as you're walking around, people are crowded, things like that, talking to the other publishers that were there, it's been a long year for the industry. So it's been a really hard year on a number of levels, business-wise, specifically the tariff nonsense that the industry has been going through back and forth, which impacts everything from supply chain and materials costs to freight costs and availability, things like that. Then you've got, on a softer side, you've got your consumers stressed out and grumpy and on edge. You as an entity are maybe stressed out and on edge. So it's been a very long, very challenging year. So you kind of picked up on like in private conversations of like, yeah, people are kind of glad that the year is wrapping down and people could kind of take a break. I thought that was interesting. You don't always quite have that level when you're talking to people, but it is what it is. And I think I've mentioned this before in previous episodes when we talked about it, but oftentimes PAX Unplugged is a slightly different audience than the Gen Con audience.
Oh, for
They're
sure.
a little more casual, right? Mandi,
Yeah.
And less expensive games generally do well. More casual games generally do very well at PAX Unplugged. This year, I think that was elevated even more. So, you've got publishers with bigger games and like, yeah, we're doing okay, but about the same as last year. Fine.
Exactly.
But then, like, I was talking to like Button Shy, and they're like, "This is our best year ever," and that's great. They sell $15 wallet games, very pick up, to buy, affordable, that kind of thing. So I thought that was an interesting thing too. We'll just mention they don't carpet the hallways. Now, Mandi, in your work with Gen Con, I know that you've talked about how that's better for people on wheeled conveyances.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Right.
In general, yes. Trying to get around.
Stinks for walkers and your back. Holy cow.
It really does. But yeah, it does help in other areas.
It is what it is. Another random behind the scenes thing, right? You know, you go to a big convention and publishers set up their booths and they all look different, behave different. You know, you just can do whatever you want. There's lots of different options. The wildest booth in some ways that I've ever seen, Button Shy actually used to do really weird booths. Like they would have like a van in their booth, that kind of thing. It was all quirky and fun. But mostly like there's vendors that sell these tension walls, the fabric walls that you use and the counters that you use and things like that. Oh no. IV Studios, makers of a game that you are going to review today.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
They were in there with literal 2x4s and power tools and planks of wood. And they build this huge black cube, and it's certainly visually stunning. I honestly cannot recall the last time I've seen a booth set up that way, where you've got guys with power tools hammering and screwing together 2x4s, and then these sheets of black plywood that they like. It was interesting. It was amusing. Whatever. Good on you, Ivy. Like it was certainly unique, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
I work, right? I'm going there because I work with restoration games. People who listen, know that. So I am working when I'm at these events, which means I have limited free time. Thank you to the couple of y'all out there that came by and chatted. Family Gamers, thanks so much for stopping by and talking about what you were seeing. That really helps me prioritize my free time. One thing I did prioritize was I wanted a copy of the Two Towers trick-taking game. This is the sequel. Right? So I guess there's 3 of them planned.
Yes,
and
I think
this
you're
was
right.
sequel, and it's not retailing until January, but this is the cooperative trick-taking game. So it was like, get an early copy. And so that's the one I lined up for. I got it. Yay.
Nice.
Huzzah. The line monitor, just this tiny little thing. And she appeared quite young to me, right? Because I'm a little older. And she was wearing like a knit blueberry cap. So we called her Blueberry Girl. She was stringent for such a small little thing. There's no line for the line. Please leave the area and come back later. I was just like, she was a force. And
Not
I'm
having
like,
it.
girlie, I did not live to be this age. And I don't got free time. I'm standing in the hallway, whether you like it or not. You can try to push me away, but it's going to come down to that. I didn't say that. I was thinking.
Sure.
Yeah. But that was entertaining. And, I picked up a few games here or there. No, nothing, no big deal. But the total impulse, Roxley was there with Slam Throne. So I bought some packs of Slam Throne.
Nice.
So for those of you who don't know what Slam Throne is, it's Pogs.
Yeah, I have some. I just haven't played it yet.
It's Roxley decided to bring back Pogs. I mean, okay. I'm just going to support it on principle because that is a bananas idea. They're brilliant. So you get this pack, you rip it open, and it's got some Pogs, it's got a slammer, it's random. Mm-hmm. The genius part of it is each pack comes with a tiny disc of neoprene, like a tiny mouse pad circle. Right. So you're going to stack your Pogs on top of that. You're going to get a bounce all the time. They give you the perfect playing surface for Pog slamming.
Very true.
Genius. And you couldn't have done that in the 90s. Genius, Roxley. Well done. So I can't wait to play it. I picked up a few packs. I'm hoping my son will play it with me.
Nice.
Mandi, you gotta open your packs and play. And then we can compare and see if we need to trade some Pogs.
They're in my bag. I keep bringing them to game night in hopes that we'll get them out, and they just never make it out. So maybe next time.
No Poggers are there.
I don't think so.
What, do they hate fun? What's wrong with them? Last couple of things. So it was also the first weekend in Philadelphia. They have a big German Christmas market.
Oh,
and this was the first weekend that it opened. So a colleague and I, on Saturday night, walked over and just tons of little shops selling ornaments and tchotchkes and scarves and, just chocolates and candy, candles, just all sorts of, you're just visiting and browsing and seeing all the lovely little gifties that you could pick up. That was delightful. Yeah. More importantly, there were food stands. So we got schnitzel with cheese. I got the mushroom schnitzel. It was delicious. We got raclette, which is like the cheese that they bake, like they grill the top and then it's all melty and then they spread it on bread or on veggies.
So good.
So good. We got mulled wine. There were turnovers. There were sausage stands. Like, it was pretty great. Just
That's
saying.
awesome. It sounds so good.
So if you're in the Philadelphia area, make an effort to go downtown to the German Christmas market. It was delightful and amazing. Highly recommend.
Nice. It sounds very good.
Yeah. So in general, I always like PAX Unplugged. It is my favorite major convention in the US. Essen Spiel is still my all-time favorite. But PAX Unplugged is just awesome. It's a perfect balance between exhibitors and games to buy and try and just playtime, you know, and lots of play space. So I loved it. I had a great time. I am glad to be home. I am very glad to be home for the year.
I mean, it sounds good. It sounds a little different than usual, but it sounds like you overall had a good time.
Yeah. So there you go. PAX Unplugged. I do want to also shout out Jordan. If you're listening, I met Jordan at the Capstone booth. Just want to say hi. You are a delight. Thank you so much for listening. All right.
I love that.
There we go. We're skipping crowdfunding,
Yes.
but I know we've been playing games. So, Mandi, you can do the honors.
Okay. Well, I thought I had spoken about this game before, but maybe I just mentioned it.
I
Nevertheless,
think you just mentioned it, to be honest.
maybe. Yeah, okay. So I'll give a quick rundown. And this one I played solo. I know, shocking. And there's even a stream of evidence that I've played this solo. And I played this with a group. So actually with a variety of player counts. And that is the game Tend. And this is a flip and write game. And I know this is one that I actually backed, and I just got the basic version. So it didn't come with the fancy markers or anything. It ends up coming with little colored pencils, but the box is significantly smaller. Decided to get a different level because she plans to play with more people. So, I mean, that makes sense. I'm not planning that. You are. So I won't get into the details of which one she got, but the one that she allows her to play.
You know, honestly, my primary, for whatever I wanted to get, I don't need all the bells and whistles. I got whatever box gave me the highest player count, and that's what made my decision.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that was it, really. And there comes some like extra stuff with it, but I know for you it was mostly because of the player count. So Tend is designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, Austin Harrison, and Toby Sarnell. Art is by Kelly Nakamura, and it's published by... Is it supposed to be 4 studios or IV Studio? I'm not really sure.
IV Studios? I guess I should ask.
I'm not sure.
I call it IV Studios, but it could be 4 studios.
We use Roman numerals on the podcast. So
I know, right?
Yeah. Okay, so we'll just say IV Studio for now, but we'll put a little star beside a little asterisk. It's for 1 to 6 players, but it can accommodate up to 12, depending on which version you get. And it's about 60 to 90 minutes per game. I don't know if I agree with that, but sure. The version that I purchased was the kind of base version, and that cost about $69 US plus shipping because I backed it. I think I checked online, and the super deluxe version is 220 Canadian. It's not cheap. So bear that in mind. So as I described earlier, it's a flip and write. They have it as a cozy flip and write, and you're farming on an alien planet. Not gonna lie, that's kind of not where I thought we were doing, but I wasn't really paying attention to the theme because the art's very pretty. So, but that's what it is. And in the box, you're going to get a lot of stuff. You're going to get some sheets, and one of the sheets is kind of where you're taking a lot of your main actions. And then you have another sheet, which is your cargo hold, and we're going to be doing some scoring and things like that. And then you have a main area for some other cards that are going to come out, like objectives and task cards, which are the types of actions you can take on a turn. And you have neighbor cards, which are cards that you can fulfill. And based on which neighbor you're fulfilling them on can allow you to kind of check off a chart. And you also have a scratch kind of card. Now, I actually in the stream tried the online version, because if you don't want to get the scratch cards or use them or whatever, you can actually do it online, which I thought that was very smart. And I've tried both ways, and that's cool. And that's another way that you can mine or chop wood. So that's a whole other thing we can get into as well. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And then you're going to have dice as your resources, which are going to go on your board, and they'll tick up or down depending on how they grow, whatever the case may be. So this game, as I said before, it's a flip and write game. So what's going to happen is, remember those task cards that I was telling you about? You're going to have a display of base kind of your starter task cards, and then some other ones that come in per season. What's going to happen, you'll have cards that'll come out in those seasons that have different types of actions on them. Like you can grow crops, you can tend to your crops, you can go fishing, you can go chopping wood, mining. There are a ton of different actions that you can do. You can put stuff in your cargo, lots and lots of things. And on your turn, you're going to be able to pick 2 of these actions. So 2 of these cards that you're going to choose. And you can, if there are 2 showing mining, you can go mining twice, whatever the case may be. So you can decide to pick from that what you want to do. So that's something you can do on the turn. And from there, you want to make sure you're trying to kind of upgrade your tools. This will allow you to get extra actions if you want. Try to upgrade your fishing area, because right now you start with a basic fishing area. If you're able to upgrade that, you'll have more options, because there are possibilities you could roll your dice when you fish and catch nothing, much like real life. So giving yourself options, it's a good thing. Trying to build fences for your animals. If you're getting animals in, you have to be able to build fences. So that's where you want to maybe chop and get some wood or things like that to do that. Till your soil so you can plant your crops. The reason why you might want to do these things is because once they've gone through a growth phase and they get to a certain point where they can be used, you can complete what they have, these neighbor cards, which sit on both sides, like one on your right side, one on your left side. And depending on which one you're trying to complete, will allow you to mark off a little track that's on one of those sides, which will then also give you resources that potentially you could use toward other things. We're not going to get into too many details because it's a lot, but you get the kind of idea of where I'm going. And then it can roll on from there. You get this, which then can be used for this. And then you know how roll and writes work. It triggers a bunch of things potentially that could happen. So that's why focusing on a thing like fishing or focusing on maybe upgrading things to get that extra action, these are going to be beneficial for you going forward. My personal favorite was the energy bar, because that gave you extra actions. You only got, I think, 2 of them, but something that's worth looking into. At the end of every season, excuse me, there is a scoring that happens. So you have these 3 objective cards that come out for each season. And it could just be, it's usually focused on your cargo hold. So potentially when you get resources, you can use them towards your cargo hold. And they represent potentially either giving you money, you can trade them for money, or you can use them as like one of the kind of polyomino shapes that you can put in your cargo hold. And those will be points at the end of the game, but they might also fit toward an objective during the game. So you might want to do that as well. And there's an objective card at the end of each season. So those are things that you want to work toward as well. Yeah, so I think we talked about, I'm doing this kind of like a really quick overview, but these are some of the things. After you do your actions, you're going to make sure that you're growing crops and things like that. You're going to be checking those neighbor cards that you have. These are things that are just going to continue to happen throughout the game, in addition to that mid-game kind of scoring. At the end of the game, you're going to take a look what's in your cargo, because each of those are going to potentially count as a point, and extra points for specific colors, depending on the little caveat at the bottom that say this part of your cargo hold, if you have this color, might be worth an extra point or something like that. So those are some things that you're going to want to calculate as well. I think I got all that right. Okay, there's a lot of scoring going on, but you get the idea. So those are really where we're going to get your points. Those end of season scoring, and then end of the game scoring for things that are in your cargo. Oh yes, you're going to take a look at your neighbor track. Whoever has the most on either side there, right? That's going to potentially get you some points as well. And I think that's it. There might be one other thing I'm thinking of, but you get where I'm going. There are lots of things to score, but to get during the game for resources, which will help you for end game scoring at the end. So that's 10. Ooh, I did it really fast.
That's a lot for roll and write. Like, that's one of the appealing things to me about it.
Yeah.
But it's also, like, definitely
a
more than you
one,
would
right?
typically expect, right?
Oh, for sure. And I'm not getting into like the tiny nuances and things like that, but you get the general gist of what's happening. So I've played this solo. It largely plays the same. The only major difference are the neighbor cards. When you complete it, you discard, versus when you complete them with other players, you give that player that card. So it's a slight difference, but it works out to a very similar way. The first time I played this game, I was like, oh, it's like so much, I'm into it. I love it. It's great. And then playing it again later, I still liked it, but the shine wore off a little bit. And I don't know why. And I almost feel like I had, maybe because I was better acquainted with the turns, I felt like I had some actions that were like wasted. So I'm like, maybe I wasn't focusing. Like, I learned that it helps to focus. I wanted to do all the things. And then the last game that I did really well, I just kind of ignored fishing and just focused on, farming, for example. That was and that seemingly did better for me because I kind of focused on that specific thing. So that's something to consider in the game. I do find it's one of those games like you playing with other people, but you're not really, other than the neighbor cards, like there really isn't that interaction. Even then with the neighbor cards, it's like, oh, great, you did a thing. Here's the card. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't playing it. I can't believe I'm saying this. Playing it solo to me, it seems to me that it would be a game that would be playing solo and it'd be fine to play it solo. I actually liked it solo. I think I liked it better.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's bad with a group. it is what it is. It's fine. But if anything, it's more just asking people questions about how do I do this? When do I do this? Like when you're first learning the game, because the rule book, I believe, doesn't even start explaining the game to like page 12. That I have an issue with. And I had played the game before, and I was like, I don't remember some of this stuff being not super clear. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But for me, I just feel like rules shouldn't start that late in the book. I understand what you're trying to do, kind of saying this is this, this, and this. But if you kind of explain as you go, I find that works a little bit better. So I had some challenges with that, but it wasn't a bad rule book. I could have just laid out a little bit better. So overall, 10. I liked it. The components are really cool. If you got the super duper fancy one, there's a mat. There's some markers with like the symbols of the different types of cargo types that you can put in there. The version I have has colored pencils that are erasable versus the markers. Just little things like that. I do like the concept of the scratch boards. If you don't want to use the scratch boards, you can use those online. So that's a little bit better for the trees and for the wallet. So that's really nice. But I think I actually liked this better solo. Not that it's bad with a group, but I wouldn't feel the need necessarily that I'd have to play this with a group. And for me to say that, and I don't even love playing solo, something to consider. So 10, it's good, crunchy, big rolling, right? But yeah, I think if you're looking for a nice solo kind of roll, I think this would do it for you.
Well, I certainly know I want to play it solo for sure. And that's one of the appealing things. But yeah, I also have friends that are looking forward, I think, to trying it.
Sure.
And thankfully they tend to like heavier, meatier games, so it shouldn't, but we'll see how it goes. I'll be texting you 5 questions on the
I'm
rules.
curious to know what your thoughts are.
We do that once in a while, right? Like every once in a while I'll get a message from you. Did you play this game? What happens when this happens? And like, yeah it's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
We are a resource to each other. Also kind of a roll and write, but in a very different scale. I want to talk about Paper Apps Galaxy.
Oh, there's a new one?
Yeah, Galaxy's the newer one. I kickstarted it a while ago, though. I've had it for a little bit. Yeah. Paper Apps it's a series of spiral-bound notepads. It's literally just like those 3x5 spiral-bound flippy notepads. That's the whole game. That and a D6. Or if you're like me, I just have a dice rolling app on my phone and I just use that. So Galaxy is the newest one. These are designed by Tom Brinton and he publishes under Gladden Games, but it's, as far as I can tell, it's just Tom. And they retail for $9 US. Very affordable. This is a printed product, but it's a very affordable, very portable printed product. And it's essentially solo, but I have played it like with somebody as you're kind of making choices and you're just kind of experiencing it together, but it's not really a co-op thing.
Sure. Cool.
So Paper Apps Galaxy, you're gonna get it. It's that thing. You get some rules and you have a ship. And most of the pages are grids and at some points of dots. And then at some point in those dots, sometimes there's little icons like that represent alien ships or moons, comets, missiles that you can pick up, coins that you can pick up, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Cool. And then at the bottom, there is a row of numbers. And those numbers represent the movement that you will get that turn. So if it says 3, your little ship that starts at the bottom, it's a little icon. You just draw a line from that ship through a line of dots. 1, 2, 3. Done. Maybe the next one's 2. You can turn at that point if you want to and go 1, 2. Every once in a while, there's a question mark. And that's when you roll your die. And you're going to get to roll 1 to 6. You never know. Along the way, you're going to be running, you want to run over coins, you want to pick up missiles, you don't want to run into alien ships or mines. Aliens, it's really clever. They also have a beam, a light gray beam across them. So that's their firing range. So if you pass through the little firing range path, you're going to take damage, that kind of thing. So, and then each sheet has some kind of goal. Oftentimes it's destroy 3 alien ships or whatnot. And you've got, you've got a D6 and basically you roll a D6 and if the ship that you're aiming at is within a straight line range, 3 spots and you roll 3 or higher, you hit it. Cool. It's very simple. It's very easy to learn and to play. And let's say you win, then you're going to get some experience in the form of coins. And then on one of the sheets early in the book, it's your upgrade chart. So there are various upgrades you can earn, like earn more shields or the ability to pass through asteroids or things like that. So you're kind of picking and choosing how you want to upgrade your ship. And ultimately in Paper Apps Galaxy, you're trying to collect 6 pieces to a machine. #theme. I don't know. And there's like a chart at the beginning with numbers. And basically you can do the numbers. And as you go, I'll start at number 2 and then I'll do number 3. Those are the pages that you flip to. And that's the challenge that you complete. And once you work your way down to these little icons on that map, when you complete all the connected nodes, then you've gathered that piece. Collect 6 pieces, and theoretically, you win the game. There are also different encounters. Every once in a while, you're going to flip, and you're like, okay, what's this map look like? And no, it's like you meet an alien and they're selling you missiles. So there's also just random little encounters, which are fun because it kind of breaks up the game a little bit and it's a nice little surprise. I like that element to it a lot. That's the whole thing. Super portable, super easy to play. You're flipping through it. It's very engaging. I would say Galaxy is one of my favorites. Although I do think he's getting like more interesting because Labyrinth is the last one and it was kind of like a choose your own adventure as you're kind of going through a 3D version. Very clever and also very fun. So yeah, that's Paper Apps Galaxy. I really liked it. $9, easy peasy. Another thing about Paper Apps is that every book is unique. Yeah. So the Galaxy rules are all the same, but the actual maps you get, every book is different because basically the way he designs these is he treats them like a roguelite program. He's made it very clear he doesn't use generative AI or anything like that. He's treating it like a programming challenge. And so he develops these algorithms that generate these maps uniquely. And then the printing process is I won't go through that allows him to print custom books. So Mandi, if you were to order 3 Galaxy books and I were to order 3 Galaxy books, we would get 6 different Galaxy books between the two of us.
That's cool though.
Which is so cool. So when I Kickstarted, I definitely got a couple because I knew that they would be different. And there you go. So Paper Apps in general, I highly recommend. Paper Apps Galaxy, I definitely recommend. This is not Tend. This is not Hadrian's Wall. But for what it is, if you're looking for something light, engaging, portable, easy to pick up and put down, affordable, I love it. Paper Apps Galaxy.
That's good. I think I saw it, but I didn't even think about it because I think I've gone through all my other Paper App books. Yeah. This is one that I have to check out as well.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's real fun.
Yeah, I like it. And the price is right, everybody.
To wrap up games played, I've got Strange World Above the Clouds, designed by Florian Grenier, published by Gur Games. And yeah, it is a strange world up there if you're ever above the clouds. I will tell you that. So Strange World Above the Clouds is a small box card game. Just cards. That's all that's in there. And you are basically going to be drafting cards and playing them into a 4x4 grid in front of you to generate points. And the player with the most points at the end of the game wins. Now, I've played this competitively according to that rule set. I've also played it solo because I have some adjustments for solo rules. So I've played it in both manners. So a lot of the cards represent lands and they've got art like mountains or fields or things like that. I like the art style. It's illustrative and things like that. It's not, it's cartoony illustrative and a little slightly surreal to it. And you're going to play over 5 rounds. You're going to draft 3 cards. And on your turn, you're going to play all those cards. So until you have a 4x4 grid in front of you, you're going to be paying attention to icons on the cards because they can contribute to your scoring. But a few other things that you want to pay attention to are world eaters. So the back of the land cards are these weird oil monster looking things called world eaters. And basically there are forbidden combos. Ooh, forbidden. And if you intentionally or accidentally play a forbidden combo into your world, it will flip over and become a world eater, which then, they don't provide any points and that kind of thing. So some of the examples of that are you cannot have any 2 water icons next to each other, or you cannot have more than 1 field icon per row. So if you ever have to put a second field icon in a row, even if it's like the field icon with another icon, because some cards have multiple icons on them, it gets flipped over into a world eater, that kind of thing. So you got to watch out for those forbidden combos. Meanwhile, there are also portal symbols on these cards, and it's only half a portal. And when you put 2 cards adjacent to each other side by side, sometimes they'll form a perfect little portal, right? Because the 2 halves have come together. Well, when that happens, there's a deck of cards called Visitors, I think, Travelers, and you can then pick one of those to add, and those they straddle 2 rows, and they're going to give you points at the end of the game. So basically the travel will be like, for every volcano in this row, you're going to score points and that kind of thing. So you want to form portals to get these travelers, but if you ever have 2 portals in a row, it's a forbidden combo. So then they flip over to world eaters, right? So you have to be careful of that. There are also moon cards that you could draft. They go on the top row. If they're ever not on the top row, they get flipped over and become world eaters, but they will score points for the icons below them in that column. So they can be very, very powerful as well if you've planned well and get lucky and that kind of thing. And yeah, then at the end of the game, you're going to score everything. Mountains will score for a group of mountains. Grains score 3 points per card. There are animals animal icons, so you're going to score for diversity of animals, blah, blah, blah. Most points wins. There you go. Strange World Above the Clouds. It's interesting. It is very interesting. It's a pretty basic game in a lot of ways, but there are those intricacies about forbidden combos and things like that. There's also an element I forgot where you can flip a card to become like a fire land, and then if you get two fire lands next to each other, you can get a dark city, which will score points as well, but that comes with risks and benefits and that kind of thing. It is a game of trade-offs and a game of adjustments, because you've got that draft and you can work up to something, but if, you end up with cards that have 3 grain icons in it and one of your rows is full, you're going to end up doubling up on a grain in a row, and you're going to have to turn one into a World Eater. Well, then it becomes, all right, how do I optimize the bad? This card has to go out. Where will it do the least amount of damage? So there is that kind of optimization puzzle that I think some people like and some people don't.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, I don't think this is a game for you. I think the visitors are interesting in how they straddle rows. It's hard to maximize on them. I find it very challenging to maximize on them, but I like it. It's interesting, and it adds a little quirk and it adds a little extra for you to target. You can get a portal pretty quickly to attract them, and once you have a traveler, then it gives you a little bit of focus. But it is a draft. You're turning around, so you might never get those cards again. Hand it off to, or you might pick other cards. So there's that draft element that I think is interesting as well. I like it. I don't know if I love it, but I like it a lot. It is very small. It's very portable. It scales nicely for its player count as well. Now, all of those rules, but with solo. The way you do solo is that you shuffle up your cards and you deal out 7 piles of 3. And you flip the top card of each pile. And then on around, you pick one of the piles. You can see the top card, but you do not know what's underneath it, right?
Okay.
So you pick a pile based on what you see on top, and then you take the whole pile and you have to play all 3 cards. So you don't know what you're getting underneath it. You're just trying to maximize on the cards that you pull into that grid. Otherwise, all the rules are basically the same. There's a little difference with some travelers and stuff like that, but it's basically the same. It's way harder. Is way harder to play solo because of that randomness of the cards below.
Mm-hmm.
I've played it. I've tried it a number of times solo. Don't know. I like how easy it is. I like that adjacency puzzle. And once you set your expectations of like, hey, it's not going to go your way for the most part, I can be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
The solo mode, if you play it a lot, maybe I'm bad at games. It can get really sad. It just gets really, really frustrating where you're just pulling stacks of cards and you can do nothing about it. And, you just, by the end of the game, you've got a ton of World Eaters or, half volcanoes. And so I get the solo game, and it's not bad, but it's just much harder to me than the draft version. So I think I actually prefer the interactive multiplayer experience here myself. Whereas the complete opposite of 10, you're like, 10, I like better solo. Here, I'm like, I think I like this better in the draft mode. So that's Strange World Above the Clouds.
Okay. I hadn't heard of this game. See, I'm learning some new things.
I learn all the time. Alrighty. Before we wrap up the show, of course, we have to serve up some dessert, especially because, it's holiday time. We're in there. We got to take every opportunity for some pie.
That's
Mandi,
true.
For American Thanksgiving, I had an amazing apple pear ginger pie.
Right. I didn't even, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't even ask just because ours was like over a month ago.
Right? Yeah. So it was delish. I'm just saying. All right.
Sounds great.
But game pie. All right, Mandi, what's the game pie of the episode today?
Game pie? I would say it's amazing games.
For gosh.
Okay, that was
I'm
really
never
bad,
letting
though.
you introduce the game pie again. Never. You just lost your game pie introduction privileges.
Get it? Amazing. Okay, never mind. It's maze games.
Thanks, Mandi.
No problem.
Yeah. Games with mazes. There's a lot of game with mazes. I'm just gonna leave it there. So Mandi,
Okay.
I think
I'll take it away.
I've got one more, so you want me to kick it off? Normally you
Yeah, please.
That's right.
Yeah, you got
I'm gonna take the lead because after that terrible pun, I deserve to go first.
I'll keep this next pun to myself. Please,
Yeah.
go ahead.
First up for me is Corridor, spelled with a Q, because why not? Quoridor. This is a classic abstract game from Gigamic Games where you are placing little walls on a grid and moving your pawn, and you want to get your pawn to the opponent's side, and they're trying to do the same. You're trying to make your path, but blocking their path. It's a great abstract game. It really withstands the test of time, and I love it. I will point out, Mandi, I picked up a copy of Layers at
Oh,
Pax Unplugged. This is the kids' table board game company, and it's
Okay.
like a 2-player dungeon game. So it's almost like it takes the idea of Corridor, but adds this dungeon planning layer where you're
Nice.
creating a dungeon that your opponent has to go through. I'm real excited to try it. So I just thought I'd mention that because it feels like it's in that family. But anyway, Corridor.
Very cool. I think I have like a travel version of Corridor.
You might.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty strong. My first slice of Maze Pie, or Maze Games Pie, I should say, is Dreamwell. So I've talked about this game before, I think a long time ago, and I used to play this game quite a bit. And it's one of these games where you're building it like you have little square tiles, and your little person and other players are trying to navigate through this maze, and you use cards in order to kind of progress you through the maze. And the art is done very well. And I wish I remembered off the top of my head who the artist is, Tara McPherson. And I think this is someone that's well known in the art world. Very cute art. Love the theme, the cards and everything. But that's generally the game. Playing cards, trying to navigate through this maze and trying to get all your points and get out before the rest of the players in the game. So Dreamwell came out in 2016. It's been a little while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know time flies, but I really enjoyed this game. And I'm like, gosh, I haven't played this in a while. So there you go. Dreamwell.
Next slice up for me, Shaky Manor. It's categorized as a maze game on BGG, so I'm going to allow it. Shaky Manor as a dexterity game. But Mandi, I think it's the kind of dexterity game you might be on board with because this is Shaky Manor. The box is part of the game in a way. You get a box and it's divided into like 8 rooms, 2 rows of 4, and they've got little holes cut out at the bottom of it, and then you get a fistful of different wooden shapes that you toss into the box, and then you're trying to get shapes into specific areas by shaking the manor, right? So you're shaking and you're twisting and you're trying to get the little meeples into certain areas. It's so goofy and it's so much fun. I love it. I love Shaky Manor, and so it is one of my favorite maze games. Mandi, that's the kind of dexterity you can get on board with. Come on.
Okay. No, that's cool. Yeah, I'm not like breaking nails or anything like that.
Yeah, you're not flicking or speed or anything.
Yeah, I like it. I'll have to check that out. My next slice of pie is probably one a lot of people have heard of, and that is the Burgle Brothers. And I think I've actually played this one solo. I know, shocking. And literally in the game, as the title may insinuate, that you are trying to pull off a robbery in a building, and there are several floors, and it's in essence a maze, but there are tiles that you're trying to get through to get to the correct floor, to get, to get at the jewelry. You're trying to do the heist. You're trying to get the things. You're trying to do that without getting caught. And in order to do that, you're going to have to progress through the different levels and try to avoid anything that might get you caught. So hence the maze aspect. So Burgle Brothers, it's been a game that's been around for a while and well loved, and for a reason. It's quite good.
Love it. All right, next up for me, Quirky Circuits.
Ooh,
Quirky Circuits is
one.
a combination of a lot of things, including mazes, because each page of this thing, you are working together to complete this challenge with a cat and a robot vacuum, and it's adorable. But just like the mind, there's no communication. So you're working together to try to achieve these objectives and create a program of like what direction and distance these entities are going to go to achieve the goal of the maze, the goal of the page. It's not easy, but it is a lot of fun. So Quirky Circuits is one of my favorite maze games.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I really like that one quite a bit. And my last slice of maze game pie is Magic Maze. And Magic Maze,
it had to be there.
Yeah, it's so good. And more recently, I played the second one that came out. And you're literally working with other people. I'm like trying not to communicate by saying, hey, go there. And moving your pieces and trying to get from point A to potentially point B, C, D. But trying to get from one point to another point successfully without all of this open communication. And, you have to work your way through the different maps in order to do so. I'm probably speaking more toward the second one than the first, but very similar concept. I do have to say, I do appreciate that they got rid of the little thing that you kind of bang on the table. If you are part of the neurospicy community, that will drive you bonkers. Do not use it. But the game itself, chef's kiss. So Magic Maze, very good.
Excellent. I love that game. All right, last slice of maze game pie for me is, anybody who knows me, not a surprise. I'm going to work it in whenever I can. It's Robo Rally.
Oh, yes, of course.
And I own like 4 different iterations of Robo Rally because I love this game so much. And just from a collector's standpoint, I have to have it. Robo Rally is mostly actually a programming game. You are robots after hours in a factory and you're basically doing a race, but but these boards, you put together these module boards and you're trying to work your way through it. Again, BGG has it categorized as a maze game. I'm going to allow it because Robo Rally is such a fun game. Now, for those of you who I love it. It's true love. I admit that there are challenges with the game. If you don't love Robo Rally, and one of those reasons is it takes too long, fair. Just make a shorter race. Everybody, this is the problem. Everybody tries to do Robo Rally with 6 boards and 5 flags. I'm like, no. Max 3 flags, max 3 boards. Go at it. You're going to have a blast. That's Robo Rally.
Yeah, that is it's highly rated, so I see why people enjoy it.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Our favorite maze games is our little game pie for the day. That's going to be an episode. Of course, there are a lot of great maze games. There's a number. I had to pick and choose. There are a lot of good maze games. Did we leave your favorite maze game off of our list? You can let us know. You can always email us, saltandsassgames@gmail.com, or you can chime in on our guild, our Board Game Geek Guild, Guild 4131, and chime in on the episode thread there, or chat us up on the socials, right, Mandi?
Yeah, you could be potentially watching us right now on YouTube, but we also stream on Twitch, and you can find us there at Salt and Sass Games. That's Salt and Sass Games. We're also on Blue Sky. We got a little professional there, so you can find us there at Salt and Sass. It's just Salt and Sass. You can find me on Blue Sky and Instagram these days at 613Mandi. That's Mandi with an I. How about you, Suzanne?
And you can find me on Blue Sky as @425Suzanne. As always, it is a pleasure and privilege to be podcasting with you today and to be part of your extended gaming family. Thank you so much for being part of ours. It's always amazing, and it was so great to see some of you at PAX Unplugged. Thank you for everybody that managed to say hi, even if it was just to say hi and then check up on Mandi. That's also still deeply appreciated. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with our next episode. Mandi, we're going to be right before our holidays. We're going to have to figure out what are we going to talk about right before because a lot, Christmas is a big deal for, for
holiday
some
time.
people.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something good.
Well, yeah, if you have suggestions of what we should do for our pre-Christmas show, let us know.
Yeah.
But until then, just take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay hydrated. Oh my gosh, please stay hydrated and play a lot of games. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. If you'd like to support the podcast, please check us out on coffee.com/saltandsassgames. Thank you for your support. We are also part of the Goonhammer Media Network. Check out more of their content on media.goonhammer.com. Salt and Sass is produced with love by Mandi and Suzanne, and we'll be back next episode with more salt, more sass, and more games.